Welcome to Cooking with Craig. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our own Big Mac sauce. But we'll be going to do it in a couple of different ways. Now, to make sure that we've got a bar where we know what Big Mac sauce tastes like, is I actually have a bottle of Big Mac sauce right here. This is Big Mac sauce, it's limited edition, so you only get it, well, when it's a limited edition. So I got a bottle of this, it cost me $12. So, that's the bar where we need to meet. Now, I have 3 other ways of making Big Mac sauce. Now, I have been reading on forums and stuff about how to make this, and I noticed and came across Thousand Island dressing by Coles is very, very similar to Big Mac sauce. All it needed was diced up gherkins or gherkin relish. So I have Coles Thousand Island dressing, I have some gherkin relish, but I've also got some gherkins as well. So what we're going to do here, because I'm going to go down the line of his normal Thousand Island dressing. This is done by Praise, and we're going to make this with the gherkins. So we're going to dice up little gherkins. We're going to use the gherkin relish with the Coles one, and we're going to mix them up, put them side by side, and we're going to do a taste test. But that's only 2. Third one, we're going to make our Big Mac sauce from scratch. Now I have a recipe I found online which calls for half a cup of mayonnaise, which I have right here, 2 tablespoons of French dressing, so I've got that as well, 4 teaspoons of gherkin relish, which I have right here, 1 tablespoon of finely minced white onion. So I've got a white onion here, we're going to mince this up. And 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. So I've got a litre of white vinegar here, but I don't need a whole litre of it. 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, 2 kilos here, I don't need 2 kilos. And 1/8 of a tablespoon of table salt. Now, I've noticed that these aren't really going to come into making this colour. So, I've also got some food dye. So this is just run-of-the-mill food dye you can get off the shelf at your local grocers. I'm going to put a couple of, well, maybe 1 drop of red, maybe 1 drop of yellow, depending on what colour it comes to, so we can try and get the consistency of that. Alright, let's get started. Alright, to start with, we're going to do our gherkins and we're going to do our onions. So we're going to mince these down and make them nice and small. Now, with the Big Mac sauce, it's really, really tiny, so we've got to make sure we are getting it down to a nice small size. So let's get into this one. Alright, so we now have our gherkins all diced up, nice and finely. So we're going to use those in one of the sauces. Next is we need some white onion, diced the same. So let's do that. Alright, so now we've got our gherkins finely diced, sort of like a relish, but a little bit different. We've got our white onions, finely diced up or minced up, quite small. So, let's get on to making this. So, we need half a cup of mayonnaise. So, let's get our mayonnaise out. There we go, half a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of French dressing, shaken well. Alright, we'll just get 2 tablespoons. 1, 2, 4 teaspoons of pickle relish. 1 tablespoon of onion. One teaspoon of granulated sugar. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of granulated salt. Now, I've only got 1/4, so I'm going to do half of one of those. And the last bit is 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Give this a whisk. Now, as you can see, it's a very white sauce. Alright, so we're going to change this colour. We're going to add in some food dye. Now, just remembering, we've got to try and get it to match that colour. So, red. There we go, there's 1 drop. Let's see what that does. Ooh, that's changed its colour quite nicely. I think a dob of yellow will do the rest. There we go, dob of yellow. Aha! That is a beautiful colour. As you can see, that has changed dramatically in colour. So that is looking a lot more like this. Alright, let's get on to the next one. Alright, so the next stage of our making Big Mac sauce is we're going to mix the Praise Thousand Island dressing with the gherkins that we've finally diced. Alright, so let's get on with this one. So what we want here is about 2/3 of a cup to mix with. Alright, now let's add our gherkins. Give that a mix. Now this is always, this one seems to be a lot darker than our mac sauce, so there's not really much we really can do about this one as such. So I'm gonna have to go with it. Alright, second one is the Coles Thousand Island dressing. Let's get this one going. And the same deal, we need approximately 2/3 of a cup. Okay. Get the gherkin relish in. 3 of these in. And give it a mix. As you can see, it has started to lighten up because of the adding of the ingredients. Still slightly darker than the Big Mac sauce. Looks delicious. Alright, so our final step is to put these on a plate and do an individual taste testing of these. Now I've got a review panel that's going to do some reviewing for me, so let's just get this all plated up. This one's the homemade. This one's the Praise. And lucky last is our Big Mac sauce. And as you can see, never been opened. Looks like it's never going to open. Open at last. Alright. Big Mackie. Alright, so I'm going to go get this taste tested, so come back in a second.